to be here again with you, to see that the first day and the first night of integration was a very personal experience for everybody, to say the least. I've heard some of your stories and I know that it's been quite intense for some of you. Maybe others haven't felt as much. Just know that the same process is occurring with you as well. And I am very grateful that we still have this afternoon, this night, and tomorrow, all day, together to finish the process. So I welcome all of you. I hope that Chalice Well did what it had to do. I was just telling Maya over there that Chalice Well is very good for finding those last little bits of unclean, stuck, patternized energy that still has the ability to go out of your body. And that's something that Chalice Well does for some people. For others it just gives amazing, amazing power. I do know, however, that in other lifetimes, other periods on Earth, you have all been there before, and I am sure that you have all felt that this isn't the first time that you've walked those grounds. You know that they say that those grounds of Chalice Well and the well itself were actually created by the energy of Magdalene. That she is the one who took the body of Peter, the body of Peter back then, from the cross and carried it all the way here to England so that the body could be buried here. Now the body is buried, or used to be buried because it's long gone obviously, used to be buried at a certain very special place in the Abbey, and we're going to try to go there still today before the day ends, to go to the Abbey because it's just a 5-minute walk from where we are now, so we can go to that place. Not to say goodbye to anything, just last time that we were here we went there to do a little ritual about the energy of the Peter. But this time we are going there for you. So we're not going there to find anything ancient. We're not going there to reactivate something. It's just about you and what you can experience there today in the now. So that's what we're going to be doing after the Ekaraya. That's going to be happening in just a moment. So the body of Peter is buried in the Abbey. And they say, and it is true, that the well of Chalice that is coming out of the ground all the way where you have been is actually running underneath the altar that you will see where Peter is buried. And so the well didn't used to be there by the time that Magdalene got to the grounds that would later on form the well. But she buried the body of Peter in the grounds. Let's say the physical body, because the energy body was actually taken into the past back then, and the light body materialized. But the physical body was taken here to the Abbey, buried, and Magdalene walked for a while until she came to this beautiful natural garden. Now it is a very conditioned garden. It has been touched by humanity. But back then it was very natural ground, very natural place, a very sacred place. And she sat there and she cried because of the death of Peter and what she had done. And mythology has it that that is what formed the well. Now if the story is true or not, that's up to you. But she wanted to find a way to have the energy of Peter still available to those who would come and seek it out. So that's why her tears hit the ground there and created the well and created an immediate link to the altar where you will go later today. All of that is ancient history. The question today is, what does this mean for you? What can you feel there today? You know, it's like Ikara speaking about poetry. Remember that? Speaking about the art of creation, the art of poetry, that the poem or the painting or whatever type of art no longer belongs to those who actually painted it, and that there is no attachment to the life of the artist, to why the artist did it. The only attachment that remains is what you are going to feel when you connect to it. And the same thing goes for these grounds, the same thing goes to the Abbey, the same thing goes for the Tor. that we will visit tomorrow extensively. And that is what free energy is all about. What is it in the moment of the now? What is happening to you now as you are experiencing it? And especially in this period of integration and ascension, the stillness that we find in there, we will have the memory of wanting to go back to past lives and to connect to past lives and see what that place or that thing or that person meant to us in past lives. What's much more important is what is happening to us now, as we are here now. So try in the coming day and a half and the coming night still, and I guess most of you are also staying for the last night after the 19th, the day of the 19th. Try in those nights to find what this place and this moment feels and does to you right now. And ask yourselves the question, why am I creating this moment? What is the point? Because so many of our creations, so many of our moments are simply lost because we don't take the time to realize that we are creating them and why we are creating them. If you do that, you will understand that your life becomes filled with energy, filled with power, and not the kind of power that this society is looking for, but the power of love, the power of joy, and the power of freedom. So thank you for going through these first few hours, the first day and the first night, and this morning, and welcome back. I'm very happy that we can go through this process together now. I hear that James is going to accompany a meditation. I don't know if you are going to do it or I'm going to do it. What do you want? You do it? Okay, and after that we will go into Anikaraya. There's several more coming, by the way. I know that probably, I'm going to tell you in advance, that probably Solarys is going to come in now, and I noticed that because I was waiting for Imzaia basically to come in. And this morning, as I was in bed still, I was getting ready to get up. Curtains were open, and I was saying, okay, who's going to come in? And all of a sudden, these clouds passed away from the sun, and the sun just like and took about 5 minutes and just went away again. So I thought,
it was just on your face.
yeah, it was pretty funny. It was like, okay. And then tomorrow we will spend our time at the Tor. We will let the mythological energies come in still, because I'm still planning to do that, and they are also still planning to speak. And at the end of the day, we will close with the Kara and the Dhammas to activate that which is known as the Divinity Manifest and the beginning of 2008. So that's the plan. I'm very curious to see if the plan will materialize. So enjoy, and I'll see you all on the other side. On the flip side.
Still in the stillness of your heart. Feel the beauty of the energy of the garden that you took with you. Which flower did you bring? beauty. And do look behind. Where you can find your own soul, your own God. Thank you for bringing that energy. Thank you for creating this beautiful space all together. Thank you for creating this oneness. It is in this oneness that your own heart will speak to you. Enjoy.
Greetings, my beloved divine child. I am Solarys of Akenaic Service, and I love you. Did you hear me? I am in love with you. The Son of all suns, the gathering of all light in all that is in love with you. What does this mean? What does it mean to be in love? Is it something that you need to receive, or is it coming out of you? Is it pouring out of you at any given moment? When I say that I am in love with you, then I mean that I find myself within you, that I exist within the purity that you are. The third time now that I come in to speak, or should I say that I pour out of you so I have a voice. It's the third time. And on this wonderful occasion, I feel an energy present with you that could be best described as the Garden of Eden. Oh, I'm not going biblical. Don't worry about that. I would never do that. I want to speak, however, of this metaphorical concept, the Garden of Eden. Let's begin at the beginning, and I'm going to go slow here today because we are in a place of stillness, are we not? The last time that Adamus spoke to you, one of the last messages of what you would be calling the Universal Manifest, you were told that you were entering a period of 3 days, 3 days of stillness. And in those 3 days, you would have the chance to discover the nothingness that you are. You see, my child, when you go beyond the mind, when you leave those thoughts behind, you don't push them away. You don't tell yourselves, I am not going to allow these thoughts to come in. Because as you should know by now, as has been discussed before, if you do that, you give the thoughts a perception of reality, and you allow them to become real so that you have to fight against them. However, everything you see around you has been created based on your own energy. And so you could say that you sit here in a prison of your own creation. A prison that the mind has conceived for you based on your own energy and created from your own energy until you undefine the prison. Stillness is about non-definition. Stillness is about no thing. If you see or perceive an object that has been given definition in your world, what do you do with it? You go to the heart of it. And in the heart of it, there is no thing. If you are, like I am, in the heart of all things, when you are truly in love, because love is the heart of all things, then you have the ability to take away the definition from any object. And when you do that, you allow it to surrender itself again. Every object that you see around you wants to give its energy back to you because it belongs with you. It doesn't want separation. The chair you sit in, the clothes that you are wearing, the jewelry that you are wearing, the houses, the closets, every material object doesn't desire the type of separation that you give it. That you think you have to give it because that is what has been taught to you, is it not? That is what has been taught to you as being your reality. It doesn't have to be that way. Every object around you wants to unify again with you. And this does not mean that when you start doing this process that all of a sudden you will see the closet come towards you and go back inside of you. This does not need to happen. The closet can still be a closet. The chair can still be a chair, and the person that you are sitting against or that you are looking at can still be that person. It is all about the intent then. If you go into a place of stillness, which is the place of no mind, which is the place of no thing, you allow the I am that is inside of you to reintegrate the things that you see around you. And by doing that, you allow the I am to exist. The I am is always there. It's always present. But you have to allow its existence to flow from you into all things. And if you do this, then you are indeed the heart of all things. I have just given you the description of what I am. I have just given you the non-definition of my essential being. And it is your description as well. It is what you can do. It is what you are doing. And this is why I am in love with you. I am not in love with you in the way that I would separate myself from you. I am standing in the same place that you are standing in. And so we together are in love with all that is around us. And this is the beauty of recognizing the light in one another. Let's talk about this light before we go on to the concept of the Garden of Eden, because it all builds up, you see, it is all part of one chain of creation. You have been told in the past that every molecule, every little bit of matter that is around you and that is even in your body consists solely of three things. Consists of light, and the light creates a color, and the color and the light create sound, create the singing of the DNA. You understand this by now. So this also means that that light that you can find in the matter of all objects is also my light. And it is also yours. It is yours to have. It is yours to emit. It isn't yours to separate from you. The human being, even the animal, has been undone of its creational power, and it has learned it should separate itself from the things around it. It was even a survival mechanism at some point, you see, because when you were undone of your divinity, when it was taken away from you by those who would seek to have power over you, it was necessary that you couldn't recognize yourself in that which would become your leaders. For if you would do that, how could you give your power to a leader? If you were to understand that your leader and you are the same. It has been told to you on this planet before that you have shifted from an era of following the leader to an era of following the self. And this is not a selfish thing. Following the self incorporates recognition of the I am in you. So if you recognize the I am in all things around you, then you are truly on the path of following the self. Because then you recognize that all matter that you see around you is built up from the light that you are. And you should see the light that you are. It is not to be perceived by human eyes. This is also one of the reasons why the eyes are closed right now. You can see the light by using the senses, which are merely based on illusion. You can't see the light by trying to perceive something from the standpoint of your human self. The only light that is available for you to see happens when you become one with the other. This light, as I have told you, is in everything. It is authentic, it is pure, it is divine. This light, then, is the concept of the Garden of Eden. If you look at this concept, and if you look at your stories that you are telling about it, stories that have been twisted, stories that have been turned around and around and around by those who would tell you that you are living in sin. It is ridiculous. If you want to hear the true story of the Garden of Eden, let me give it to you. There. Did you hear that? Did you hear that stillness? Therein lies the story. Always. This Garden of Eden is nothing more than a place of original thought. If you were to see that, then you would begin to understand the true nature of your being. The authentic, original thought that is your source for all creation is not based on the mental power that you know today. It is not based on what you would call the thoughts that are constantly attacking you, telling you what you need to desire, telling you where you need to go. This is not a creative thought. A creative thought is an authentic thought, is an original thought. And if you really feel the energy of my being, which is the energy of your being, which is the love and the joy and the freedom pouring out of you, then you know what an original thought is all about and why we now connect it to this Garden of Eden. If you want to take away the metaphor, let's do this. Let's take away the metaphor. Let's take away the metaphor of Adam and Eve and of God throwing these beautiful, beautiful souls out of His garden. How could God ever throw anything out of itself? It's impossible. It's an illusion. But if you take away the metaphor, then you will see why all of you are living your lives the way you are living them today. And I'm not just talking about those who would sit in front of me. I am not talking about those that would hear or read these words. I am talking about humankind. Let's take away the metaphor. The Garden of Eden is a concept about thought. And when a thought of negativity runs into your original creative power, then you will separate yourself from divinity. You must understand that you are entering a realm now where things are going to move very fast indeed. Others have always told you, those that would speak in my name, in your name, have always told you that the thought process, that the mind was there to give you a period of introspection so that you could decide that that which what you are thinking is that which you want to create in your reality. And yet, this channel, only this morning, woke up to somebody, next to somebody, who wanted to create a butterfly. And there was the butterfly, wasn't it? It was there, in the room. And this is not something that only this person can do. It is something that everybody can do. It is something that you can do, my child. Because now, as you have entered this period of stillness, as you have entered this introspective state, you have the ability to immediately go into the creative process and to have no buffer in between. We have told you that the concept of the mind and the concept of the veil are similar. We have also told you that the veil was that which is separating your realities for you, which is the prism that is separating the light into all these little frequencies that you can then step into. Those frequencies are again becoming one with the soul. So the original thought is going to manifest in your reality once again. 2008 then, my beloved divine child, is the re-entry into the Garden of Eden. I'm going to give you a moment to let this process, to integrate it, the re-entry into the Garden of Eden. It is where your Bible began, and it is where your Bible will now end. Throw it away. The metaphors are over. The time for storytelling is over. This is about truth. At one point in your human evolution, you started believing that you had separated yourselves from Source. This entire Divinity Manifest that you are stepping into now is about taking away that belief system and understanding that you have never done such a thing. So you were never thrown out of this Garden of Eden. You were still inside of it. You're still inside of it. And this beauty is now beginning to show up in your lives if you allow it. You must understand that time and space are meaningless in this concept. You would think that if you create something in your world, that you would still have to wait for it, or that you still have to step towards it. But that person that created the butterfly within your group, in his very room this morning, knows the swiftness of creation. Actually, you all know the swiftness of creation. Being back, or remembering that you have always been within the garden, which is the authentic place within yourself, means that you can let go of disbelief. It is the disbelief in the beauty that is all around you that is taking you away from it. If you were only to understand this fully, if you only saw the completion that you have now stepped into, then you would really understand what this ascension process is all about, pioneer. That you are returning, Lemurian. That your wisdom is re-emerging, shaman, medicine man, medicine woman. It's all coming back now. It is your choice that when you step away from this place, where we are now creating these words together, no matter where on the planet you are, it is your choice that when you step away from this moment of pure love, pure joy, and pure freedom, to stay in your old paradigm, or to get away from that as well. Healing is nothing more than the remembrance of you in your authentic place in the galaxy, in the universe, and in the cosmos. The center of it. The center of it. Let this message then be an invitation to come home. I am inviting you to come home. And you don't have to travel to achieve this homecoming. You don't have to go through hardship anymore to receive this homecoming. All you have to do is to choose it, Master. And to see the light in all things around you. And to understand that you are emitting that light. Even beyond this understanding lies the concept that you are that light. You are not just emitting it, you are it. And those that you called the Atlanteans, that separated themselves from unity consciousness and hence creating the mind that you know today, don't understand this concept anymore because of their last action that they undertook when on earth. And so it is that you have difficulty grasping this concept. Oh, I know that you are grasping it on a theoretical level. I know that you are grasping it and trying to make it work. You don't need to understand it. You don't need to make it work. You just need to work with it. When this message of the homecoming will be complete, we will begin a first series in this Divinity Manifest. For this is the third part, basically, of that which you would call the introduction to the manifest. We will begin a series about creation. And I will teach you practical tools for portal creation. What you don't understand yet is that there are portals outside of you in your external body, such as the Tor here in Glastonbury, such as the Camelot portal or the Shasta portal in California, and many, many, many more. But the true portal is the one within. You are here on this earth, and you have been told before to bring in the fifth element of consciousness. And in order to do so, you have to open up your portal. Your portal, which you could call your heart, which you could call your akene, which has been a theoretical concept, which has now already been turned into a more practical tool, is going to become your philosopher's stone, you see. It is going to become your elixir of life. It is coming out of you now. And it is becoming bigger than it ever has. So next time when we speak, when you have achieved this homecoming into the Garden of Eden, which is another metaphor for ascension, is it not? We will speak about portal creation. And we will speak about this topic 5 times. 5 times because the creation of such a portal, which is going to come from within and is going to be outside of you in the end, will need the 5 elements to create the portal. It is the same way that you are creating matter all around you. All matter that you see, your body, for instance, contains these 5 elements. And if one is missing, the body will cease to exist on the planet. Balance is the key here. And balance has always been the key to responsibility. And responsibility has always been the key to true divine power. Why is it so that so many of your leaders who are on the planet today are looking for the same type of power, actually, that I am speaking about right now, and that they can't achieve it, so they have to take it away from you? It's very simple. Because they don't have balance, and they don't have the responsibility that comes with that balance. We have told you about sending light. We have told you about the fact that the I am can only exist if you incorporate all that is around you in it. So your way out of your current political situations and economical situations and even religious situations is to send light into these places that would then create the balance that is necessary to have a shift of power. Imagine a world where those who would be governing it for you are working with the same principles than the ones we are talking about right now. It is coming. It is coming. as long as you step out of your suffering. And you have done so. You are now at the beginning of a very new place indeed. And you will see that this place is not about walking the path anymore. It is about choosing the path. Choosing it. Any given moment. Any given instant. You might ask yourselves the question before we go on. Are you now, at this point where you are sitting, truly aware of all the elements? Are you truly aware of the element of light? Do you fully understand what it is? How about water? How about wind? How about earth? Oh, you see them all around you and you will say, yes, I know about the element of water, it is the ocean. It isn't. The element of water and all the other elements are energy concepts, you see. Energy concepts. You need to look behind what you see in the material world to find the true essence of these things. And the same goes for consciousness. So after these 5 messages, which will be about creating the inner portal, we are going to have to talk to you about the true essence of consciousness. And we will have to bring in knowledge into this world again through all of you that hasn't been on the planet. Wasn't even there in Lemuria. Has never been on the planet. It is a divine concept, and it could only happen when the ascension process would be complete. So here you sit, ambassadors of free energy. Free energy which has one purpose and one purpose alone, to activate consciousness. Consciousness can never exist in a limited paradigm, in a world of mind. So that is why you need to activate the world of consciousness. How many of you in the last few days, since your ascension process began, have been walking the earth in full awareness that every step they are taking is creating the light that you see around you as matter? How many of you are aware, child, that you are already within the energy of Source? That you are already within the light. It's just your eyes that are deceiving you. It's just your eyes that are telling you that what you see around you is matter, and that this matter that you see around you, it can die. Who would want to unify with something that can die, that can end? It's no strange thing then that you would live in the illusion of separation, because everything that you see around you, your brain is telling you that at one point it won't be there anymore. And so you are all afraid of true love. Because you know that true love is always going to end up hurting you, or at least that's what you have been told. Not the true love which is universal love, however. That is why you are always destroying the love that you see around you. That is why a person kicks a dog. That is why one lover betrays the other. That is why one lover would seek to destroy the other. They do it because they are afraid of the true connection, because they have been told that the true connection will end up hurting them, because in the end it will perish, because in the end it will die. If I were to be in your shoes, I would be very afraid, yes. Why would I go through the trouble of loving somebody, if I were to know that that body would someday cease to exist? It is a journey that can only lead to one conclusion: pain, suffering. But it is illusion. This universal love, if you recognize that you are already within the light, that you are already within Source, that you are already the Master, and that you are already divine, then you will understand that when you actually experience the light of the other, that it is eternal. Think about this for a minute. Think about pain. Some of you here, as they stepped into the room, told the channel that they were in pain. There was pain in their body. Some whom he was talking to last night spoke about pain. So let's think about pain for a minute. Let me try to phrase it like this. If you truly believe in your own divinity, then why would that which is divine create pain? How can that which is divine, which is magical, can create anything else but perfection? It is impossible. So the pain in your body, if you are feeling it, or the sadness, or the fear, or whatever it is that you are feeling, the separation maybe, can only come from that place which is not total, which is not divine, which is mental. Use then this pain. And how can you use it? How can you use pain? How can you use sadness? How can you use fear? It's very simple. Disease as well. You do it like this. First, you simply recognize and surrender to the pain, or to the fear, and to the sadness, to the disease. You completely agree with the fact that you are in that creation, and you don't try to push it away. When you are in agreement, when you are in surrender of that now, then you can go to a place of action. And the action is to improve your condition. And you do that by, secondly, understanding and realizing and experiencing that what you are feeling is an illusion. That you are in an illusionary world. How do you do that? You go to number 3. And this one is basically, for most people, the most difficult one. It is an illusion because, as I said before, that which is divine would never create something which is not perfect. And pain or disease or whatever is not perfect. If you are in that condition, if you have mastered the 3rd step, and you will begin to know how to get out of it, then you will understand that what you are experiencing around you and within you, which would bring you to your death if you let the ego guide your way, can never truly be the right path. The trick is to make it all meaningless. And to find the meaning that is there behind the patterning, that is there behind the lie that you are seeing at any given moment. Would this then mean that what is around you matters not at all? Yes and no. It doesn't matter anymore because you are not creating it. Human consciousness, unity consciousness, is not creating this. And that which you are not creating, but which is being created by an external force, based, however, on your own energy still, can never matter. That is why masters who have walked this earth and continue to walk this earth have told you that you can never be unfree. That you are always free. For if you are put in a cage, and you are indeed in a cage, if you are put in a cage which is not your own creation, but however, which is based on your own energy, then that cage is not real. If you are not doing the creation, then it is meaningless. And this is something that you must come to understand. That is also the concept of you then, that you must come to understand. And I'm not going to speak about this concept in great detail, because I have already. You know that you is not just your internal physical body, it's also the external, universal body basically. Every matter that you see around you. This is where we began the teaching today. If you understand the concept of you, then you would know that another aspect of you would never take your power away and use that power to create something which appears as separate. So how can we now relate all of this to the Garden of Eden concept? This garden is nothing more than the authentic place which was earth at one point. It happened when the angelic beings, as you now know, came to the planet carrying the light which still has the ability to immediately manifest and create what is necessary. As, however, the other elements were brought in when the second cycle of 144,000 years came around, and the third one, and the fourth, light gradually slowed down. But I'm going to tell you, it's not a secret. How could it be a secret? I'm going to tell you a truth. How do you master time and space and matter? How can you truly become aware of the fact that the closet that is 10 meters removed from you, in fact, is not removed from you at all? The answer is universal light. The light of Source. You see, your vision has been blurred to such an extent in the past that even the light that you're seeing, which is always coming from your central sun, the solar sun here, in this solar system, has been slowed down. It has been slowed down because you have added to it the element of earth, and the element of water, and the element of air. And now It has been slowed down to such a great extent that your scientists can even calculate its speed, which of course is a ridiculous concept, because light, universal light, is akeneic energy. And akeneic energy, when it comes into your timeline, as you know, spreads itself immediately throughout the timeline, becoming the past and becoming the future at the same time. This means that there can be no speed of light, no true speed of universal light, because the light is always connected. So if you want to master time and space and matter, all you need to do is to recognize the akeneic energy, which is the true universal light. I encourage you to do this as you will be walking the Abbey grounds here in Glastonbury later today, Imzaia. I also encourage you to do it with the Tor visit that you will have tomorrow. There, you will receive more information on a personal level. It won't come in a vocal communication. It will come when it will come, and how it will come. For some of you it might be something that you see in nature, for others it might come from within. It might be a thought of creation popping into your head. It might be something somebody says, but it will come. Now, more important than ever, becomes the message to find the keys from within. Because the key of Earth and the key of this universe has been turned, and now humanity must become aware again that they are and will always continue to be the key to creation. That's why you are the masters. That's why you are the divine children. It's even difficult for me to say children because it is a plural concept. And when I am talking to you, I see you as one. So basically you are not my children, you are my child. If you were to see that, then war would be over, would it not? Then fighting would be over. And you can see this because of the concept of universal light. Universal light is akeneic. I have told you at the beginning of this message that in every particle of matter is light and color and sound, and all of them are universal. They are not the light or not the color or not the sound that you are seeing in your slowed down reality, which is all in front of you, all around you. They are total. They are akeneic. They are ever present. And in this lies the understanding that the closet and you know no gap of space and time. This means that neither one of you knows the gap of space and time. Why is it possible for a channel, for instance, or an ascended master to speak to others who aren't even in the physical reality? Because they don't agree with the gap. Everybody has always told you that the big one, the big illusion to master all illusions is the one called separation. It is even more important than the one called form. However, you needed to go through form to get to separation. But separation is the key. The gap is the key. If you believe in the gap, you are going to find yourselves surrounded by things. If you take away the belief in the gap, if you go to universal light, you cannot be surrounded by anything. And then the mind becomes a place of stillness. Then the mind becomes that place where you can see anything and make it into no thing, and as such to create it from within. That is when you recognize that the Akene which is inside of you is outside of you as well. And that basically you are living in a holographic world. A holographic world which is founded, as you know, on all the elements, but most basic of all of them is light. So all you have to do to reconfigure this world and reconfigure all of the elements is to program the light differently. I am telling you again, and I may be repeating myself because it is so very important. There is no difference between the light that is coming out of you and the light that you see within the closet. That is how the man that I spoke of created the butterfly. At the moment of creation, he saw no difference between himself and the butterfly. The light of himself and the light of that butterfly was one. He did the same thing with a meal of pasta, but that's not such a good example to use in a message like this one. I encourage all of you to bring back the beauty of the planet. You have all seen the butterflies go away in the last few years, have you not? You have seen the butterflies get smaller in numbers, always smaller in numbers, until right now they have become almost an exception. If you see them, bring them back. It is your hologram. It is your world. Bring them back. Bring them back in all of their colors. Let the butterflies be a reflection of the rainbow that you sometimes see created by the light and the water and the air. Bring this back into the reality. You will see that you have to do very little things to create beauty on the planet once again. And if you wanted to learn about magic, my child, then this is a good place to start. We are not going to give you the guidelines. Creating butterflies for dummies. We're not going to give you that. Because you are not dummies. You are the most aware, most beautiful life. Sources of life that exist within this galaxy. You have no idea about this. But do you know that the Pleiadians or any other race are actually looking up to you? When you see them, you might think they know so much beyond my own knowledge base. They know how to master their reality. Yes. But they are looking, as they come here, to you with respect. They are looking at their teachers who decided to forget that they were the teachers. They are looking at those who carry so much of the power, who are indeed the key to creation. And they come here out of respect and service to help you. It is their duty to help you remember, as it is my duty to help you remember. One more point. Let's go back to the Garden of Eden. Let's take the element of Akenaic universal light now. And let's take the creation of the butterfly. How about you forget the words now and you take a moment? I'm going to ask the lovely Jacob Lumley, when this message is over, to listen to your DNA, to the song of your soul. And this time I'm going to ask him to really listen. Listen to your soul and to give you the music. And I'm going to ask you, when this message is over, to return to the Garden of Eden within you. And to focus on the concept of universal light, which knows no time and space and matter. And when you focus on this, I'm going to ask you, my child, to recreate an abundance of butterflies on this earth. 2007 and all the years that came before were all about listening. 2008 and all that will come after will be about celebrating. And you celebrate by action. So let celebration then be the intent behind your action. I am going to ask all of you and Jacob Lumley to celebrate the butterfly. And in your celebration, believe me, it will re-emerge on planet Earth. Why begin with the butterfly? Because it is a small event. We are going to do bigger things after this. We are going to reclaim our earth, our Garden of Eden, the authentic place of beauty and love and joy and freedom. And you, Imzaia and Shambra and Lightworkers, whoever you are, I know you. I know that deep down you no longer want to wait for somebody to do it for you. So please start doing it. We will start doing it each time one of these messages is given to you. And each time we will bring back a little part of beauty to the earth. As long as you let the intent behind your action be the celebration of the thing that you are creating, you will see that it will re-emerge very quickly. Now I must tell you that all around you are many beings of light. Many of your guides, many of those that have helped you along your path for such a long time, and they have come in with their eyes wide open. They want to see you stepping back into your power. Never forget that the Son of all suns, the sum of all light, which is to be found in all the stars in the universe, but at the same time also the stars that are you, the sum of all light, loves you, and it is in love with you, and it is in joy with you, and it is in freedom. I stand ready now to let you experience that love, so that it might be the guide, guiding you towards your celebration of the butterfly. Bring it back. Bring it back right now. Remember the authentic place. Remember the garden. Remember the Achaenaic universal light. And remember all that you are. And then, in silence, I am inviting you to sing the song of beauty that is reflected within the rainbow colors of the butterfly. Always remember that I am in love with you, that I am in joy with you, and that together in oneness we are freedom. Enjoy the action that is to come, Master. If you learn that these tricks are no tricks at all, they are just a sign of the Master, you will learn how easy it is. How very easy it is to reclaim this planet. I salute you. I honor you. And I wash your feet. And so it is. Welcome back, everybody. Want to hear a funny thing? As the channel was ending, you might have noticed that all of a sudden a fly started flying around the room. And the last moment before I came out of the channel completely, Solarys told me, and I just told you, tell them that they forgot the butter. So I don't know if it is cholesterol related, but maybe you should add some more butter to your creations. But of course it wasn't about creating a room filled with butterflies, because then those would just start flying against the walls and hurt themselves. It is about creating these things back into planet Earth, and to make planet Earth a place of pure beauty again. I'm very happy with the message that came in, and that we will take action. That we will not just use these ekarayas to listen, but that we will use them to create. I'm sure that when more people are going to connect to this moment as they will listen, it will still strengthen the creation. I'm also asked to remind you in the coming days to start using your news and your papers and your internet for different things. Actually, it was kind of channeled into me, but for some reason I didn't say it. I don't know why. Right near the end of the message, I'm going to say it to you now. Use the coming days, maybe. You have all learned, most of you here have said, you know, I don't want any more of that bad news. I don't want to listen to the news. I don't want to read the papers. I don't want to use the internet anymore. How about we start using it selectively? How about next time we go onto an online paper or an online news report or whatever, we start looking for the word butterfly. And we start looking if things are known about this. If maybe in a couple of days or maybe in a couple of weeks, some news report will come along letting you know that butterfly is once again stronger on the planet. Who knows?
And I can feel the energy of celebration of Baba.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. What time is it? 3:45. Is that true?
Yeah.
Dang. I don't know if...
Shall we have a quick look?
Yes.